Hello and welcome to the Embroidered Elephant channel. My name is Kim and today you are joining me with a podcast. Had to think for a minute there. It has been a while since I last did my podcast. I didn't realise that I've only done 10 episodes. I thought there was many more than that. I thought I did quite a few last year, but clearly I didn't. So this is the first one for 2024. So I am actually filming this in the middle of January. I am going away to France next week for a week. So there may be some additions at the end if I get some more crochet done whilst I'm away, which is the plan. I did lots of different videos in December, showing different techniques, showing different ideas, sharing ideas of different gift ideas, etc. So some of these projects that I'm showing you now may have already appeared on the channel, but they haven't appeared in a podcast yet. So if this is your first time joining me, hi, my name is Kim. I do a lot of crochet and I do sewing as well. I have got a big stash of yarn, a bit too big. So my plans for this year are both to finish all of the works in progress that I have. So I currently have 6 works in progress on my tracker that I am planning to get done, hopefully by the middle of this year. But some of them are quite big projects. So I have two jumpers, a pair of socks, a bag and a cardigan, and something that I'm going to go through in a minute as well. So they aren't small projects, most of them, so that's a little bit not intimidating. It makes me think about how much time I'm going to spend doing them, although I will love them once they're finished. So anyway, that's the start. So as I said, I also have a lot of yarn. So another one of my goals this year is to complete projects, and as I do podcasts every month, I will add a little addition on the end which shows you how much yarn I have gone through. This will either be verbal or it will be sort of on a title screen, but I thought that it would be really cool to see at the end of the year how much yarn I have gone through, either individual skeins or meterage, etc. So yeah, let's get started. Firstly, how am I? I am doing very well. I'm quite tired at the moment. I think that is just because there's a lot going on. Obviously being January, I've been filming quite a few videos. I have been doing a lot of sewing. If you've seen my other video for the start of 2024, I sat down with my business and got a stupid amount of spreadsheets done, updated, different things planned. I updated my shop. I did a full stock check, which I have so much in my shop, so it took me quite a long time. Not that I'm complaining at all. But yeah, so I am good. Personally, everything's fine, not much has changed for the moment. As I said, well, January so far, I have been spending quite a bit of time crocheting on a specific project that I'll be talking about. I have also been trying to get through my book stash, so my plan is to read 3 books a month. And again, that takes quite a bit of time because both crochet and reading requires your hands. So at the moment I haven't managed to do both, and I'm not as confident a stitcher that I can not look at what I'm crocheting. So I can't get a book rest for the moment. I have got some audiobooks. I've got lots of audiobooks, different CDs, etc. So I can definitely use those to keep me entertained, but getting through my book stash is a big goal of mine as well. So yeah. So the first category of this video is my finished projects. So I have a few, and these aren't all from January. Some of these are from December, but I haven't shown them on a podcast yet, so I will be showing them today. So the first one is a really simple one. So this is a crochet headband. It's made with some scrap mohair and some scrap grey yarn. I don't know what the yarn was because I bought it as scrap, so it didn't have a label on it. This one, there was, I keep referring back here because this is where my list is. So for this headband I used 8 grams of the grey fingering weight sock yarn, and I used 6 grams of blue mohair, so they're both gone. I like this, but I don't like it enough to wear it a lot. So I didn't necessarily use a pattern, so it's a little bit too big for me, which isn't a great start. But also, doesn't look great with my hair up like that, but it doesn't really cover my ears, which is what I wanted it for. So I didn't have enough yarn to make it thicker. Otherwise, I definitely would have made it thicker. And I had this little bow on the front just because it was a little bit too loose for me. So the size-wise is okay, it's just not thick enough for me. So I did base it on this that I made a few months ago. So I'm sure I showed this on the podcast. It's just a very simple unwoven end there. So this is just a very simple headband. It is a hobby. It's a hobby pattern. I will pop it below. It's just made with mohair, so it's very simple. But this one is actually really warm when I go out for walks in the evening. So it doesn't look the best. Obviously, I've not styled it, but it covers my ears, and because it's mohair, it is really, really warm. It's so warm on my ears, which hats aren't always. And because this is quite thin, it means that I can still hear. So when I'm having conversations with my other half, I can still hear him when I'm wearing this, if I want to. So yeah, that was the plan. This is quite a denser fabric, and as I said, because it's not as thick, it just doesn't do the job properly. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Maybe see if someone in my family wants it instead. So that's one finished object. The next one that I finished is just a very simple beanie. So this was made with Stylecraft Special DK, and I absolutely love the colour of it. So it's this sort of duck egg blue, and I've just got a grey bobble on the top, and I don't know if the colour suits me, but I absolutely love it. So I was going to sell it, but I really like the colour, and I've got a orange version of this with a brown bobble on the top, and I wear that all the time as well. So this is 100% acrylic, I believe, and this was an 100-gram skein, which is now no longer in my stash, so that's great. So 2 finished objects. And the third one is this top. So if you have seen some of my videos before, you may remember me saying about the Portugal top. So the Portugal top is, quite simply, I went to Portugal maybe a year or 2 ago now, and whilst I was there I went to a yarn shop, I'll put the name of it below, and I bought this yarn. So it's half cotton, half acrylic, I think. Is it Mungofaria? Probably completely destroying that. Anyway, so I bought 3 skeins and I started making a top. just in double crochet. It looked awful and I don't know what I'd done. Clearly I'd done something very wrong. The edges were so skew width that there was no way that even blocking would save it. So I caved and I bought a pattern online. So this is a pattern by Gioni. She, or he, I believe it's a she, is on Etsy, and this is the Heidi top. So the way that I have made it is obviously with 2 skeins of yarn. I still have a little bit left over of this top one, which is black, white and rust, and the bottom one I have a tiny bit left of the rust colour. And the idea is that at the front down here there are some buttons to make it look as though it's buttoned up. You could make it into a button top, but I didn't. I sewed it up, obviously. And yeah, this is just a simple shirt. It took me quite a while to work up, not because it was difficult, but because it's just rows, and I was quite slow with the rows, and because I haven't crocheted for a while, my hands started to get a bit crampy, so there was a lot of sort of flicking hands and doing the hand exercises, but as I said, it worked up in less than a month, and that was sort of spending half an hour or so on it every night. So this is just the strap. So originally this was just a chain stitch, however I turned it into a scalloped one. You can't really see it too much. You can't see it too much when I'm wearing it either, but it was just something to make it a little bit thicker. Under all of my shirts I tend to wear bras, so I wanted something that would cover my bra strap. So this is more likely to do it than sort of just a chain. The yarn was really nice to work with. I will say that it split quite a bit when I was weaving the ends in, but that's not really a big deal. On the hook it was lovely. It was absolutely fine. I would definitely buy it again. And actually I've been looking online at some of the other colourways they do, and some of them are absolutely beautiful. They've got this sort of light purple colour which really reminds me of one of my friends. So I'm wondering whether, once I've got through a lot of my stash, whether I could buy some and maybe make something for her. Even if it's just a headband or a bag or an accessory of some sort. I would love to make her a shirt, but I don't know exactly whether she would wear it. I know her general style, but I don't know her complete style, if that makes sense. So I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours on something that she might not wear or feel obliged to wear. So yeah, that's a long way of saying I'm not getting any more yet, but I definitely would in the future. And I really like this yarn because it reminds me of our trip. So although the pattern is called the Heidi top, I'm calling this my Portugal shirt. So compared to the pattern, when I did my gauge swatch initially, the length was okay, the height was not. So I read online an easy way to make your gauge swatch meet is to do double crochets or single crochets, but just pull the loop up higher so that the stitch is taller, and that should meet gauge. So that's what I did for the first few rows. Then I realised I definitely have enough yarn to just do it sort of as my tension was, but as I was going round I measured it again, and you make it flat, the crocheted length of it was much longer than it should have been. So I don't know what I did wrong. I think I probably did the foundation train quite loose, because I have done it really tight in the past, which has led to it not being stretchy enough. Maybe. So originally I was making this pattern in a size large, going by the large measurements. I got about 3 rows in and decided to make it in a size medium, because I'd be more likely to wear it, and that was more to my size. So this top is finished in a medium. I did add some more rows at the bottom because when I wore it, it was just a little bit too short for my comfort. So you will see where I've added, oh, it's not as obvious as I thought it was. I thought it was really obvious, but I can't see it there maybe. So maybe on camera you might be able to see, if you look close enough, that I've added some rows at the bottom of this. It doesn't bother me, I'm more likely to wear it, so yeah. I would show you what it looks like on right at the moment, but it is drying. It's just got off the blocking mat. Still a little bit damp, but I wanted to show you. So hopefully this will be dry enough for me to give you a little demonstration. So yeah. So 2 finished projects so far. So we've got 3 finished projects so far. So we've got the top, Portugal top, I've got the hat, and I've got the headband. And all in all, I went through this much yarn. I'll have to add this at the end because I didn't finish complete skein, so yeah. I need to weigh how much is left from the Portugal shirt, and once I've done that I will add the amount of yarn that I've used on the screen. So going back to my finished objects, I also forgot to mention that I made this beautiful seagull. Now you have to imagine he's sitting in my hand. I made this beautiful little seagull for my mum. So there is a reason that I gave it to her, and quite briefly, we went into a yarn shop and there was some rickaroomy patterns, one of which was a seagull. I think that it's mid-flight with its wings out. It looks beautiful. Whilst I was there, my mum said that she really wanted to make it and she felt quite inspired, so I bought her the pattern book. Fast forward to now, my mum has become busier. She hasn't had the time to make it, so I thought that I would make a little seagull for her instead. So hopefully on screen now you will be seeing a picture of the finished seagull I made. And for the seagull I did use a pattern. The pattern was by lovelycraft.com and it is called Little Crochet Seagull Amigurumi PDF Keychain Free Pattern. And the pattern itself does come with a sort of, as you look at the pattern, it's got a scarf and it's got a hat on. I did think about doing that, but I didn't in the end. Overall, I did use stash yarn for it. Overall, I was really happy with the outcome. I found the pattern pretty easy to finish, though I will say when it got closer to the head I was a bit confused about the shaping. So my finished seagull is very much like a tic-tac shape. In the pattern it starts off, you work from the bottom up. The bottom is a tic-tac shape, and then as you get to the top it tells you to increase, so it sort of looks like this shape. And I could not for the life of me work out why it would need to sort of come out, why the head would need to come out, seeing as the beak was separate, the eyes were sewn on, it definitely wasn't the tail. So I was quite confused, so I ripped it back and modified the pattern to make it into a tic-tac shape because I just couldn't understand why. Apart from that, and apart from being a little bit tedious just because it is an amigurumi pattern, I absolutely loved it. I would probably look to make maybe different birds in the future using the pattern that I modified. I said it's a tic-tac shape and everything else is separate, so you crochet up the beak and you sew it on. You crochet the tail, you sew it on. Same with the feet. Now I don't mind sewing at all. Obviously I do it every day, so it's not an issue for me. But I I said I really liked the pattern, and it was just the top bit that was confusing for me, but apart from that the instructions are fairly clear. Yeah, so I had 4 finished projects. Moving on to my whips, or my works in progress. I've only got 2 that I'm actively working on, and I'm hoping to have these finished fairly soon. So the first one is a scarf. Now this pattern is by Lion brand. It's called the Portsmouth scarf. I'm not sure if Portsmouth is a place in America as well, but it's a place quite close to me in the south of England. So I quite liked the name of it. So this is a granny stitch, and it's worked up. So you are meant to use just I think 2 balls of yarn they recommend. I'm using 2, but 2 different colours, so I'm not sure initially where this yarn was from. Again, this was stash. It's a bit hairy, to be honest. There's quite a few hairs on it, you might not be able to see it, but this was a beautiful purple colour. This is a beautiful turquoise colour, and my plan is, so I've made 2 so far, so one will be the top and one will be the bottom. Yes, they're different sizes, but I had to guesstimate. I had to guesstimate the rows and wanted to use up all of the yarn, so that's why. So one of these will be the bottom, one of these will be the top. So all of the granny stitch square, all of the granny stitches go in the same direction. So one will be upside down, if that makes sense. So I've got the 2 ends of the scarf, and I thought to complement the turquoise colour, the greeny turquoise colour, a darker colour would be perfect. So again, this was, I got this in a D-stash, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly confident to say that this is Lion brand homespun yarn in the colourway Edwardian. So you may have used this before, you may recognise it. So it's black, well, dark grey and sort of a lighter grey, and it's just in this curly, I suppose, yarn. So I will be crocheting this until it's gone in the middle of this scarf, unless it gets ridiculously long. But my plan is to use up one of these, and I will have another one in my stash. But yeah, apparently you need only one of these for a scarf, so it'll be quite interesting to see how long the scarf gets. So that's one that I'm working on, so it's a scarf. I will probably be taking that to France with me to finish up. It's a really easy pattern, it's just repeats, and there's not too much yarn to take with me. I won't need to weave in, I guess I could weave in the ends before I go, but there's nothing too complex about it. I won't need to take too many tools. So that's one of them. The other one I could take with me, but I probably won't. Although it's a smaller bag, this is one of my ones. Did this specifically for Halloween. So these are the paper chains that I was making a while ago around Christmas. So I love these, and they crochet up really, really quickly. But if I am thinking of taking these away with me, it means I will need to take my crochet hook, some scissors, a needle to weave in the ends. And I just don't really want to take that many accessories with me and worry about weaving in ends while I'm having a conversation, or I'm sitting watching TV, or you know, something's going on. So I might leave this at home. So I've got 6 so far, and I've gathered up all my sort of little balls of yarn and little scraps, and I'm going to use these. So I've got 2, 3, 4, So I'll try and show you. So I've got these four, so an orange, a light pink, a green, and light green. I've got 2 whites, and these are just cotton yarns that I've got from different kits or what have you. I've got purple, yellow, and 2 whites, pink, blue, and a red, and then just all of these scraps, which I'm sure can be used. So again, this is really simple pattern. It is by mypoppet.com. Again, I will link that below. So this pattern is really simple and it comes together pretty quickly. However, the one thing that I probably do regret is doing it in colour order, because my plan was to extend this with the more yarn that I use. But if I use something that's really bright colours, it feels as though it wouldn't really sort of mix in this. The same as because I've got all the pinks together and then I'm going into orange, then yellow, then green. I don't know, it just feels, it's too planned. But I really struggle with things that aren't planned in a project. So yeah, but that's a good stash buster. So hopefully that will be done by next time, by the next podcast. By done, I mean that I will have finished these balls of yarn. So 10 and a little bit balls of yarn, and these are very much probably around 10-20 grams each, so not a lot to use. I just need to do it really. So those are my whips. So nothing overly exciting, to be honest. But then we move on to a planned project. So for the moment I only have one planned project. So on my planned projects I have 20 planned projects. This is one that's separate to that, of course. So I have many patterns in my stash. Now these have been both bought and downloaded online. They may have been emailed to me, they may have been part of something else. But one of these patterns, when I looked through them recently, was a pattern by Lindsay Noons of Lottie and Albert, and it is for a headband. So it's called the Tie Knot Headband. Now, I saw this and I have a dress that I always wear. So it is a dress with Matilda on it from Roald Dahl. And if you don't know that book, where have you been? It's so famous. If you don't know the book, hopefully you've watched the film. Again, very famous. So I bought a black headband, and the idea is to crochet over this. So in Matilda, she often wears a red headband. My dress is a mix of blues and reds and other beautiful patterns. It's the original Quentin Blake drawing, which I'm absolutely in love with. Anyway, my plan when I saw this headband was to make a red headband like Matilda wears in the movie and wear this with the dress, which I think would be really pretty. So I have got out my selection of red yarn. I don't actually have that much. So to choose from, I've got 5 different colours. So firstly, I've got these 2. So they are, one is Serdar Happy Yarns, the other one is Rickarimi. They are very similar but slightly different, and the Rickarimi has some sparkles in it. So I've got 2 of these and I've only got 1 of these. I don't think that one would be enough for a headband, so I probably won't use that. And this one, although it is red, is quite a light red, so it's quite similar to orange, I would say. So that's not really the one that I was going to go with. Then I've got these three. So this is a Reborn Wool Recycled by Cremke Soul Wool. Has been made with the utmost care and love from 100% post-garment recycled materials. This yarn has been made to be kind to the environment by diverting old clothes that were destined to landfill without the use of any dyes or harmful chemicals and very little water. So this was from Hobby, I believe. So we've got this one that is quite a sort of maroon colour and it's quite textured. Or we've got these two, which this one I bought new and it's not glowing like it is on camera. It's quite a bright red, which I bought new for a blanket. This is just leftover. Or I've got this red, which isn't nearly as bright, sort of a duller red, but it's definitely red, not like how it's showing on camera. And this one was from someone else's de-stash, so I don't really know which one I'm going to go for. I might have to look up a picture of Matilda and see what kind of red it is. I believe it's quite a bright red. I'm not 100% sure. Let me have a look. So the red that Matilda wears it's a red ribbon and it is quite bright, but I think I'll have to compare them to the dress and see which one I prefer, and I'll need to look through the pattern to see which one has enough. I think that it will call for a bigger weight than DK, but DK is what I'm working with, so it will be one of these two, I think. So hopefully that will use up the yarn. And I'm also looking to make one out of this. So this is hand spun. This is hand spun by a shop named No Moths Allowed. I bought this at a yarn event last year and it's so pretty. It's such a sort of dark blue with is it Selena running through it, sparkles, which is so pretty, and I don't really know what else to do with it, but I would love to wear it. So this will probably be a headband as well, but I need to see what clothes I have that it will go with. I used to wear headbands all the time when I was at school, so I'm looking forward to that, to be honest. So yes. So one thing I have bought recently are these little blocks for telling yarn gauge. I have found this really easy because I tend to work from de-stash yarn, which doesn't always have a label on it. So this really helps to be able to see what gauge I'm working with. You can also use it to tell gauge. So it comes with 3 different ones. A gauge here. And this can tell you the size of your needles, but obviously I don't tend to use needles because I crochet. But that would be very useful if I did. And it comes with this tiny one as well, but I don't tend to work with thread, so that's probably not the most useful thing to me, but yeah. I thought I'd share that because it was relatively cheap and I've used it quite a lot. So if you tend to work from de-stash yarns, or you have lost the band to a lot of your yarns, I would suggest getting one of these because it's so useful. It's saved me quite a bit so far and I've only had it a couple of weeks. But yeah. And I also wanted to go through some of the things that I have made recently for my shop. So this is my Valentine's collection and it's got little cowboys and cowgirls on it and it's just so cute. When I found this fabric, I've had this fabric for a while, and when I found it I just absolutely fell in love. I knew I had to have it. So it's got little cheesy chat lines on it, so I'm roping you'll be mine. And you've corralled my heart, sweetheart for you. It's just really, really cute. So I've got 2 of these little project bags. Now this would easily fit a small project, such as my headband or the, what are they called? Ear warmers, or the paper chain that I'm working on, paper garland. And I've also got 4 of the big bags. So this would be enough probably for, I think, maybe a sweater, depending on how much yarn you're using. This is quite a big bag. It's a fair size compared to the bags that I usually make as well. So yeah, I've got 4 of these and I just absolutely love them. My shop is also currently having a sale. By the time this video goes up, it will have been having a sale for a week or so. But the sale lasts until the 17th of February. So a lot of stock that hasn't sold, that I really wanted to, is on sale for 25% off, which is an absolute steal, and most of my things have free delivery on as well, if not everything. So head over if there's anything that you've been looking at recently. Now would probably be a good time to purchase it, just because I have got those offers on. The link to my shop will be below. So apart from that, thank you very much for checking out this video. Thank you very much for watching, and if you do have a look at my shop, I would really appreciate it. And other than that, take care, and I will see you next time. All the best. Bye.